Welcome to this week's episode of Chop the Rock. I am Diana Long, Director of River Market Operations with the Little Rock Convention and Visitors Bureau. And our guest today is Emily Crist, who is the tea specialist at the Green Corner Store. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So excited. Hot tea. Now, there used to be, you could have like 3 or 4 flavors of hot tea that you would find, and in the last 10 or 20 years, hot tea has just sort of exploded as far as the varieties that you can get, things you can find in the store, and especially in specialty teas and loose teas like what you offer at the Green Corner Store.
And we have 35 different flavors.
Oh, wow.
With 6 different types of tea.
Okay.
So there's definitely a lot of variety.
So do y'all blend all of those special?
Well, they're blended in Fayetteville. It's a local company, Savoy Tea.
Okay.
And they get the teas from all over the world, and then they blend them in their tea lab in Fayetteville. So they're locally blended and everything like that. So as local as you can get with tea.
Right.
So it's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome. So the Green Corner Store is in the Soma neighborhood of downtown Little Rock, which is short for South Main. And y'all are on the corner of 15th and Main Street. Y'all have been there since 2009.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That was right as the resurgence of South Main kind of really started to take off.
Yeah, it was one of the first like flagship kind of stores there and everything.
Right, right. And how long have y'all been doing the specialty teas?
We started the tea bar and officially opened it up on November 16th this year.
Just recently, in 2017, in November. So that is super cool. Well, I am so excited to learn about what you've got here and taste some teas. Why don't you get us started?
All right. So I was going to start us out with Paris Morning.
Paris Morning.
This is a black tea. And I'm going to use a scroll top filter to make it. So I just grab my tea scoop, grab 1 teaspoon of tea, since this is about an 8-ounce cup.
I could smell it when you opened the lid.
It has bergamot, caramel, and vanilla. It's a really good one.
It smelled really fruity.
It's that lemon bergamot. So I'm just going to let that steep for 5 minutes. Go ahead and set my timer.
Oh, it smells
And
so
it
good.
just sets right in there. I'll get this. And then as soon as the timer goes up, I'm going to just pull it out, set it to the side, and then you drink it.
So you have this really cool contraption over here that keeps the water hot. Let's say that I'm at home and I have... Is the best way at home to boil some tea and pour it through, or, you know, like I cheat, I put the hot water in the microwave, I dunk the bag, I let it sit till it looks like it's the right color. Sometimes I feel like I need to heat it back up again. How's that? Is that?
Well, generally it's better to boil it because the microwaving the water can kind of mess with like the molecular structure. And that changes the flavor. So like boiled filtered water is the best thing you can use.
Gotcha.
And you can just pour it right through. And like people think loose leaf tea is really complicated and hard, but it's not. It's only like one more step than a bag. You know, you just pop it right into the infuser and then just take it out.
Okay.
And loose tea is cool too because a lot of them you can re-steep. So you can get like 2 or 3 steeps out of it instead of just 1.
So what's the difference between the ones that you can re-steep and those that that you can't? Is it a...
It's like the shape of the leaves and the type of tea. Like if it's maybe an herbal tea that has a bunch of flavoring in it, the flavor's not gonna really stay in there. It'll get infused in the first steep. But if it's like a oolong or a jasmine dragon, you can it'll keep that flavor and you can really get a bunch out of it.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's pretty economical overall. Like it's a little bit of a beginning expense where you have to get the equipment, but after that, you know, you'll be good.
Set.
Yeah, for a while.
Gotcha.
So next one has about 3 minutes left on it. You can already see the colors changing, and it's really getting in there. And it's pretty important
smells
to
great.
pay attention to your time and temperature, like with the different types of tea. So black teas are a little more forgiving. You can steep them for a while longer. They can get a little hotter. But like with an oolong or a green, you're probably not going to want to put like boiling water in there. You might want to add some ice and kind of bring the temperature down because it could burn.
Really?
Yeah, and then it'll be kind of gross. But if you do it all right, then you'll get like those really complex, beautiful flavors. So it's pretty fun. This one doesn't really expand because they're small leaves, but you can see the little bit of expansion in there.
So they get wet and kind of swell up.
So
Gotcha.
they start out so much smaller, and you can see how dry they are,
Oh, wow, yeah.
and then it just kind of brings them back to life, and then you get the infusion out of it.
I'll set that over there for you.
Thank you.
So while we only have like a minute left on this one. Tell me about some of the things that people can get. Like, I mean, some people like their tea just plain. Some people are very much, I want milk in my tea, I want sugar in my tea.
Yeah.
Do you have recommendations for this specific tea? Is it better with something in it, or?
It's good with milk. It's kind of like an Earl Grey because it has the bergamot, but it's just a little like dressed up with the caramel and vanilla. So you can have it with milk and sugar, or you can just have it plain. Like, I like it plain because I feel like all the flavors are really prominent, but it's really good as like a milk tea as well.
Gotcha.
And we can make any of them like hot, iced, milk, sugar, lemon, just whatever.
Whatever your taste
Whatever you
preference
want.
is. Gotcha. So it's not something that kind of has much hard and fast rules other than pay attention to your time, pay attention to your temperature. Some of them you can re-steep, some of them you can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has about 20 seconds left on it.
So while it's still going, tell me what the hours are at the Green Corner Store.
So we're open on Tuesday to Friday from 10 to 6, and then Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 5, and then we're closed Mondays.
Gotcha. And not only do y'all have this fabulous tea bar with all this selection. Oh,
Cool. It's ready.
that's such a pretty color.
Yeah. And then that one's done. You can try it if you want.
It smells really good.
And then we can add sugar.
Oh, that's
So you
pretty.
can just take a little bit and pop it in there. And we also have milk you can add if you like. But
And that's a special sugar too, right?
it's a beetroot sugar,
Beetroot sugar, okay.
and it's like unbleached, unprocessed, so it's not gonna mess with the flavor of tea the way that like table sugar does.
Ah,
So it'll just be a sweet version of the tea.
but it won't taste like beet either.
Yeah,
right?
it
Okay,
doesn't
good.
have any kind of a beety flavor. It's just kind of straight, nothing weird about it.
Right.
So,
I see it's starting to dissolve in there too. You can
yeah.
see.
And you can always kind of stir it up to get it going along.
Cool.
But, yeah.
Oh, that did sweeten it a little bit. Not too much, not overpowering sweet though.
Yeah, it's not a crazy sweet, like, sweetener.
Right. That's really
It's
cool.
more
And it does not
subtle.
taste like beets, so I'm a little bit relieved in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on and make our next tea, and you can tell me about that one.
All right. So now we're going to make an oolong, and this is one of the ones that you can receive.
Okay.
This is Green Dragon Oolong. It's a really tasty one. It has kind of a buttery finish to it, and then like a really sweet aroma if you want to smell it.
Oh, wow. So did you do 2 scoops of this one also?
Mm-mm.
So
I did
this one is
just one of
one,
that.
1 scoop, and this one is 2 scoops.
You can kind of just do it to preference. It's usually 1 per 8 ounces, but I just went ahead and did 2 for this one so you can really get the flavor since we're just
Gotcha.
making a little cup.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this with water. And this one isn't gonna steep quite as long. I'm just gonna do it for 3 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and set my timer for 3 minutes and get that going. And if you watch this one, you can definitely see the leaves starting to unfurl,
Mm-hmm.
like even already. And they'll just get more and more loose until it's just like a line, like it just looks like a leaf basically.
Oh, wow. So it's
So-
not quite as, kind of this looked even
Yeah.
ground up after you were done with it, like it was smaller cuts of the leaves.
Yeah.
These will be more whole.
Mhm.
So I noticed on the back that you guys have, for example, this Paris morning that we just tasted. It says, 1 teaspoon of tea, 8 ounces of water, and it's 208 degrees, and it says to steep it for 5 minutes. And then this one is a teaspoon of tea. Of course, we're making it stronger just for fun. You can do 6 to 8 ounces of water, and it's 195 degrees. So if I were to come into the store and I wanted to buy, I don't even know what size packages you can purchase of this.
So we have gift tins of a lot
okay.
of the different teas, and it just comes in the tin, and then you can bring it back and refill it whenever you want.
Oh, cool.
And then we have sample packs, which is just like a tiny amount, enough you can make like 2-3 cups like this.
So that you can taste it before
Yeah.
you buy it. Because these are nicer, these are not your celestial seasoning teas that you're
Yeah.
going to find at Walmart or Kroger. So they are going to be a little bit more expensive, but they are going to be wholly sourced as far as you know exactly what's in it, you know exactly where it's
Yeah.
coming from, you know exactly how it's blended to a special thing, and you're supporting local, so it always costs a little more. But when you buy this in the gift tins, or even, I guess that you guys put,
Yeah, we'll put all the steeping instructions, and we'll walk through it with everybody and just like make sure that they're written on the tins and the sample packs, but if we weigh it out, like we can also just do it by 2-ounce minimum. Usually people get 2 or 4 ounces. You
Gotcha.
can even do like a pound if that's what you wanted.
wow,
So
okay.
just however much, and we'll just write it on the bag then so they can tell
Gotcha.
what they're supposed to do.
And about how many, like a teaspoon or this 2 teaspoons, how many ounces does that typically represent?
That'd be like 8 ounces, so just like a cup. And then the drinks that we make in store are 16 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do like 2 or 3 teaspoons in those.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to make it like just like you get it in the store, if you get a tea and you really like it, then you can
Right.
write that down too, and just like how
Gotcha.
we made it and everything. Just wanting to make it as easy as possible for people to get into tea if they're not already.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Cool.
and then you can see now they've unfurled a lot.
They have, and this is not nearly as dark. I mean, this obviously steeped for a little bit longer. I'll set this back over here. But this here is a much greener tea, a much lighter tea.
So the thing that's interesting about tea is these are all from the same plant. So this, and then the green dragon as well, are all gonna be one leaf. Like they come from the same tea leaf, but the way they're processed is different. So, I mean, you can already smell and tell how different this one is just by looking at it. And
Oh, wow, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
so this one is going to be like fully oxidized. They shake it around after the leaves are picked and then dry it out and just let it really get fully oxidized, and that's why it gets that dark color. That's why it's black tea. And then oolong tea is partially oxidized. Like they'll oxidize it, stop, start again. It's a really complicated process. Which
Wow.
is also why this one's a little pricier.
Okay.
So
That's interesting. I had no idea that a tea that looked like it's kind of like roasting coffee.
Yeah.
Like a darker roast is literally roasted longer. And so it's not a different plant is very
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
So you can do a lot with one little plant. And then we have Jasmine Dragon Phoenix Pearls, which is a green tea. And this one's one of our more rare ones as well.
Okay, so is there a difference? So these are the black teas, right?
Well, this one is black, the Paris Morning, and then the Green Dragon Oolong is an oolong tea.
Right, okay. And that is because now, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Ooh,
See, you can see like this is
like you could set
a leaf.
that. Ooh, it is.
It's pretty crazy. And that
So
starts
this comes
out
off
as-
the same plant, it's just processed
So-
differently.
This one is going to be processed the most lightly.
And they're all in these little tiny balls. Can you give me one
Yeah,
of those?
Definitely.
Just one.
Here you go.
I mean, I guess y'all can see this, is that it's one little tiny, oh. Now, what do they do to, that makes it ball
So,
up like this?
They're hand rolled.
Oh my word, really? That is the size of a pearl.
Yeah.
No wonder this is a high-end tea. That's a lot of work right there.
So they pluck the bud and then the top two leaves of the tea plant, and then they're hand rolled. And this happens in early spring, and so that's like the best time to harvest the tea. And then they store it until summer, whenever the jasmine flowers bloom, and they store the tea and the jasmine flowers together. So there's no like jasmine in this; it's just scented with it.
Aha.
And then it'll make a jasmine pearl.
That is super cool. So for this, you said it's just the top two leaves and the bud. So they're working further down the plant for some of these others, right? So they would not, this would not be like a bottom leaf would not be part of this.
Yeah, it's like the highest quality,
Gotcha.
just the top and
Does
everything.
that have anything to do with it gets more light because it's at the top, or?
That's just where the harvestable leaves are.
Gotcha. Okay. And do they plant? I don't know much about how tea grows. Do they plant that and then it's like a deciduous thing, or it's an evergreen, and they plant like an olive tree where you just harvest the same tree every single year, or is it a crop like you would plant rice and then replant it?
So it's the same leaf of the same plant, and it takes years for it to be harvestable. So they'll plant it, and they'll wait all this time, and then every year in spring or sometimes summer, the leaves will be ready, and then they do the big tea harvest.
Oh, cool.
So it's like really complex and has a lot of nuances, but you can see these are starting to unroll a little bit.
They are, and it smells. I wish I could smell it in TV. Okay, so while we're waiting, we only have, what, is that 30 seconds left? So that's only going to take just a second there.
This is the shortest one.
And how many minutes? I was also interested in how this grows and the fact that this little tiny ball made all of that. How long did this steep for?
This one you're going to do 2 to 4 minutes. I did 2 today.
Okay.
It just kind of depends on preference again.
Right.
But this one is another that you can definitely re-steep. The balls will just totally unroll, and then you'll keep getting the jasmine flavor for a long time. This one I personally steep like 5 or 6 times.
Ah, okay. So
there's that one. You can see how the colors kind of fade down a little bit.
Right.
So you have black tea, oolong tea, and green tea.
It's funny that this one looks a little bit more brown than this one does, but the
Yeah.
smell coming off of this. All right, I have to taste this. You can't taste the jasmine, right? You can only.
You get a jasmine flavor from it.
You should be able to put this in your bath water somehow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do that. It'd be kind of a pricey bath, but there's a lot of benefits for the skin from green tea as well. So that would be not a bad
Very
thing to do.
good. That's really good.
Yeah, that one's one of my favorites.
Like I really would just steep this and let it sit just for smelling it. It smells so incredibly good.
All right, and then you've got little mixture in there. You can see these buds have started to really loosen up.
Uh-huh. Wow, okay.
All right. So those are our 3 just straight teas.
Okay.
And then we have some herbal and rooibos teas. So these are not technically teas in the true sense of the word, they're tisanes because they don't have the tea leaf in them.
Really?
So like when someone says herbal tea, it's not technically a tea. It's
Okay.
just a blend of like fruits, botanicals, herbs.
Okay, that's interesting because I think I had tried, you called it rooibos. How'd you say that?
Rooibos.
Okay, rooibos. I had no idea. I was countrifying that up big time. I bought some of that tea at home, not, obviously not having any idea, and it was a red
Yep.
version, and it really did look very red in the cup.
Yeah.
It has a good, interesting flavor. It's not something I could drink every day. Yeah.
So
So this is the magical unicorn tea we talked about. I'm gonna get some of these kind of.
alrighty.
Maybe if I set these up here a little bit.
So Magical Unicorn is one of our newest teas, and it's a lot of fun. Kids really love it, and it tastes really good. It tastes like Captain Crunch to me. Like
What?
it's really fruity and just a lot of fun. So if you look at it, these are just different
smells
fruits.
like fruity pebbles too.
I know, it's like a fruity cereal.
It looks like a fruity cereal.
So I'm just gonna pop that one in. I'll do 2 teaspoons for this too, just to get a
And let's do this
nice
real
strong
quick.
flavor.
Put a little bit of that on this saucer and we'll
Yeah.
just pour it back in there because I want everybody at home to be able to see what, I mean, it literally, this is like orange rind right here. The things I can identify just
Yeah.
looking in here. I don't know, what flower is that?
So that is the butterfly pea flower,
Oh.
and you'll see that's what gives it its color. It
Okay.
has a really distinctive color and look to it, and then that's
Cool.
the magical ingredient.
I see.
So it has like pineapples, orange, all kinds of fun fruity flavors in there.
Okay, you want to put this back in there?
I'll just put that to the side.
Okay.
And this one also has rose hips, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up. And this is going to be another 5-minute one. When it comes to herbal teas, you don't really have to worry about the temperature time, because they're not going to burn. So if you wanted, you could just set it and forget it. Like
Come
you could
back
just
to
put
warm
it
it up in a
there.
little while, but not in the microwave.
Yeah, ideally not in the microwave, but so it's starting to turn blue. You can already see that. And
That
it's
is
just
super
gonna
cool.
keep steeping, and it's gonna get that rich blue color.
Okay.
So we'll leave that.
I can't wait to try this. Does it turn people's teeth? Like
No.
it does? It's not like Kool-Aid or your. Okay. That's
There's
good.
no artificial colors or anything in this. It's just
Gotcha.
from the flower.
Gotcha.
So-
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so while we wait, since this one takes 5 minutes, let's talk a little bit more about the Green Corner Store and how unique it is, not just to Central Arkansas, but in our state in general.
So it's the first and only eco lifestyle store in Arkansas. So we sell like daily goods, but with an eco twist on them. So you can get like cleaning supplies, dog food, pet products, makeup, skincare, body care. And then we have a wellness department, which has like essential oils and homeopathic and lots of different types of healing
Okay.
things.
Gotcha. I was reading that because it is green, which is in part, a big effort on sustainability. So when I was kind of looking on your Facebook page, there was something you had shared about how even the paper coffee cups really aren't that sustainable or recyclable. And so y'all encourage people to come in and bring your own cup.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And so it's kind of like you're in every aspect of what you do. And I assume also now that you have the tea bar, that if I wanted to come in and I was not a regular tea drinker, maybe I saw this segment and said,
Yeah.
"Ooh, I've got to try that," right? That I could maybe pick up some of this equipment. Would y'all have that too? Okay.
So we sell these. We sell the scroll tops.
Okay.
And that's kind of the best, basic, easy thing to use. And we don't sell like mesh tea balls right now, but a lot of people like those for gifts. And then you can pick up the tea itself. We can sell you bulk herbs if you want that to add in.
Gotcha.
And then we sell like teapots, tea sets, just anything you'd need to make it.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
So, let's see, it's getting even more
It's
blue.
almost like a violet.
I know, it's crazy. It's like this dark purpley blue.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that has 2 minutes on it.
Okay.
So that's still going.
All right.
Yeah. And we also can set up like a little tea party in the store if you wanted to come in. Like a lot of moms come in with their daughters, couples come in, and then we can set up like with the cups and with the teapot and with like a creamer, lemon, whatever you need, and just sit out and relax and enjoy some tea.
So you can taste at this kind of thing. You could taste like a variety of the teas, or
You could if you wanted
could.
to.
How many people can y'all accommodate at a thing like that?
Right now, we've the most people we've had was probably like 8 or 9, but we can make it work with more. And in the
Okay.
future, we really want to set it up to where we can do catering events and we can have like a full tea party, like for brides or kids or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a future plan.
Yeah, that's really cool. You should maybe host some, like what we're doing here today, kind of where you're teaching me all about this.
Yeah,
Maybe some tea classes where you can bring people in, and
we'd love to do that.
yeah, that'd be really cool because okay, so where the tea bar is in the soda fountain area. Is that right? And that's where Lob Lolly has outgrown, and so they're now in a different space.
Yeah, they're right next door now.
Right next door, which is great. That's super awesome. And they have even made ice creams that have some of your teas in them. Is that correct?
They don't have our teas in them, but they do have like matcha ice creams
Okay.
and some different. I think they have an Earl Grey one.
I've seen their tea.
They're really good.
Their tea ice creams and thought, well, that's interesting. They do a lot of really interesting flavors, but I guess I also thought since y'all were right there together for a long time that maybe that was a combined thing. But so y'all do the tea in the soda fountain area, so maybe that would be a great thing where some people could come and sit around and
Yeah,
try
people
some tea.
sit at the bar up there, and we have samples every day.
Oh, cool.
So we'll have like a hot tea out for people to try. So
This
there's
is-
that.
I feel like a child. This is so, it literally
It's so
looks like
much
hot
fun.
Kool-Aid right here. I hope y'all can, I can't really turn it that much, but hopefully you can get it.
Yeah, it's that really pretty blue color.
Oh,
So you should taste it now. Isn't it good?
it's like a great dessert tea. You don't, I mean,
it doesn't even have sugar or anything.
it's really sweet. Okay,
Yeah.
so what is this you're gonna put
So
in here?
this is lemon juice,
Ooh,
and this is what makes it magical unicorn tea. So you're gonna add the lemon juice,
it turned
and then
red.
it turns this reddy, pinky kind of purple.
Okay, yeah.
And then the more you add, the lighter it'll get. So a lot of people really love to watch this happen.
That is so cool.
So you can try it that way now.
Okay. Well, it's a lot of lemon
Yeah.
for me, but still good. So if you like a whole lot of lemon,
And you don't have to do that much. That was
Sure.
mostly just to
right?
kind of change the color all the way.
Uh huh.
But if you do like a small amount, it gets kind of a sweet tarty flavor.
Yeah, I can
and
see
then
how that would be the case. The sweet tart flavor
You
is
can
there.
add more or less, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when people order this, we usually just give them some lemon and let them do the color change themselves.
Right.
And that's always a lot of fun.
Cool. That's very cool.
So I'm going to set this one to the side.
And even and now, is this something that you could redo?
You could. It probably wouldn't keep the flavor and the really strong color the same way. since this is an herbal, it doesn't have that
Right, that
strong
retention.
retention.
So it's easier to see now that we've got orange rind. You can actually see the flowers here.
Yep. And this is a little pineapple.
Little chunk of pineapple.
There's that in there. And they all kind of get dyed by the blue
do.
flower
That is just
because it's so strong.
so interesting. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. So those are 4 of the hot teas we can make. And then I was going to make an iced tea.
Okay. Dump the rest of this for you.
So I've got a cup prepped with some ice in it.
Okay.
And this is our Ingenie infuser.
Okay.
So this one, you make the tea in the infuser and then you add it to the cup of ice.
All right.
So I'm going to make a rooibos for this one.
Okay.
This is raspberry vanilla. It's really tasty.
Ooh.
And I think this one is really good iced. So I'm just gonna scoop that in there.
What are the big chunks that are those seriously like?
These are raspberries. Yeah.
That is so cool.
I'll put one
Okay.
of those in there so you can get it. So you're gonna wanna do the iced teas double strength.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say
Since
that's
you
a
put
lot.
it over the water.
How
the
many
ice.
scoops were that?
So we do like 5 or 6
Okay,
scoops
okay.
for a 16-ounce cup. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this started. So I'm adding the water in there. And you're gonna do half the water,
Okay.
twice the tea. So I'll go ahead and set that timer. That'll be another 5-minute one. So while that's going, you can see
See how red it is
super
already?
red. So rooibos means red bush,
Ah, okay.
and it's a South African tea. The tea leaf, the Camellia synthesis, that like regular tea is made of, doesn't grow in that climate. So this is kind of the alternative,
Okay.
and it's naturally caffeine free.
So it's not really a tea.
This is another tisane.
Okay, right.
So that's just gonna steep. It gets super red, and it's just infused with the freeze-dried raspberries and vanilla flavor.
Okay, okay.
hmm
Really
So it also has rose petals in it.
cool.
So it's kind of a good Valentine tea, a little romantic kind of thing.
Gotcha. So I bet it's also going to smell really, really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really yummy. So I was thinking we could make this one an iced tea.
Okay.
And when you're making it in the Ingenie infuser, it's usually the best to put the sugar directly in there.
Right. So because the
So,
warm water will melt it better
exactly.
than once it's over the
Yeah,
ice.
because
Gotcha.
you would want to use like a simple syrup if you were going to add it directly to the
Right.
ice.
Right.
So let that steep together.
So while we're letting this go, and you mentioned simple syrup, and so you have a selection to show these of some different syrups and flavorings. This is vanilla. What was this?
This is a pumpkin pie spice.
The most flavored. That's like the favorite. This flavor.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it. And then Pink House Alchemy, which is this a local company too?
This isn't a local, but
This
they
isn't?
are an organic company.
Okay. But Pink House Alchemy is.
They're in Bentonville.
That's right. That's right. We see a lot about them. And so this is a cardamom simple syrup and a ginger, which has got to be a really interesting flavor in a tea. I like a ginger tea. So you probably have a much wider selection
Yeah,
than
we
this
have
in the store.
Tons more in the
Tons
store.
more. And can you, let's say I wanted to buy some of this for home, could I also just come in and buy a jar of
Yeah,
some
we
of their
sell
products? Okay.
Pink House.
I
Yeah,
think
we have
that's
a big
super
selection
cool.
of theirs.
Very good. They have a huge variety of things. I've kind of followed their story a little bit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
They're awesome.
yeah.
So this is still going. It's getting that darker red color. And you can see the leaves are really fine in this.
They are. What is it like? So the ones that are floating at the top here, and then they're falling to the bottom. What does that mean?
So that's just the rooibos. It just kind of floats around a little bit, but
Okay.
it's so like fine and everything
Uh-huh.
that it's not gonna stay to the top or the bottom the way that like those big pearls or something like that do, where they just kind of float and stay together a little bit. These kind of just move all around.
Okay.
So that has about a minute left on it. And we want to bring these in for resale in the future because they're really neat and you can use them for hot or iced tea.
Right.
So like they're the most convenient for ice because you can make the double strength easily and then you can
Right.
brew it directly over the ice. But they're also really good for if you want to make like a tea with milk and you wanted to heat your milk beforehand or anything like that. So you just don't have to worry about it like mixing together and getting it cold or anything.
Gotcha. So do y'all also have like recipe books or informational things like that? Like maybe, I don't know, a cookbook about tea and how to do these things and what the different things mean.
We have some tea books, like some literature and everything. We don't have a cookbook for our tea recipes yet, but that
Just
would be
in
something
general,
cool.
yeah. Like here's the difference between this kind of tea, that, because for me, you can tell me this, but I'm gonna need to let that
Yeah.
soak in a little bit before I really get it. And what about if let's say I'm super interested in kind of living a more green life, but I'm really not sure. You know, you could look online and there's great, amazing
Yeah.
resources online, but what I have found in a lot of internet research is that it's just like looking at weather apps. If you could look at 7 of them and get a different
Yeah.
forecast out of each one for the exact same location and period of time. And so, do y'all offer some resources that would kind of help people transition and make those types of decisions?
Yeah, we almost always have a lot of like books about green lifestyle, homesteading. We have some
Gotcha.
things about like healing and things like that.
Okay.
And you could also just talk to any of the staff and especially the owner, Shelley Green. She's really knowledgeable about everything. So
Let's talk about this one more time
Yeah.
because you were answering my question, and I wondered the whole time
Yeah.
we were doing this. I'm like, there has to be a button on the bottom because the filter was in the bottom, and so what did you
just set it
do?
down.
Uh-huh.
And there's a little
Oh.
mechanism
Okay.
that pushes up.
And
So it's
releases
just really
that.
simple. You don't have to press anything.
I was looking to
Just
see
set
if
it
you
on your mug.
had a secret button
Yep.
over there or something.
Nope.
Okay. Cool. That's a
Yeah.
really pretty tea. So this is designed. This kind of tea is designed so that it's warm and you know how much ice, and obviously it's going to melt a little bit of the ice and water down a little bit, but it's brewed
That's
so
why
that it
it's
can
double
accommodate
strength.
that. Gotcha. So that when it cools
Exactly.
off. And do you usually let these sit for a minute, or are they okay?
No, they're fine right away.
Oh,
You might need to mix it a little, but that's it.
can I use your stir?
Yeah.
Put your stir.
Here you go. So, and that'll get it nice and cold too.
Right. That tastes really good, and it actually tastes better than I thought it smelled.
Yeah.
It smells really good, but
It's got that tartness to it.
it smells like children's Tylenol smells.
Yeah,
Do you know
I
what
could
I'm
kinda
saying?
see
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It tastes way better than children's Tylenol. It's really super good. But when I first smelled it, I thought, oh, I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
But that's really good. And it's light too.
Mm-hmm.
And so, obviously, if you wanted to have this unsweetened,
Yeah. It's
or
really good that
if
way,
you
too.
were, sometimes I find unsweetened things to be a little bit more refreshing when it's hot outside. It's like
Yeah.
sugar weighs it down. But if you were trying to avoid the calories
Mm-hmm.
and just the carbs in general, you could use a stevia
Yeah.
or something like that.
We
in
have
it.
local honey, stevia, and then the rock sugar.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. That's very
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
good. That'd be great for summertime.
So that's a really good summer tea.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, I was gonna go ahead and make an herbal blend
Okay.
that we can blend ourselves in the store. So this is what I call headache killer tea.
I'm digging that.
So if you have a really bad headache, lavender and peppermint are a really good combination.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna want to mix 1 part lavender, 1 part peppermint, and then 2 parts lavender.
Okay.
And these are organic bulk herbs. And we also just sell them in bulk. We can add them to any tea if you want a little bit of a health benefit boost or just like a flavor boost.
Right.
So like Paris Morning is really good with lavender, I think.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that.
So that's a fun mixture. So I'll go ahead and get that steeping.
So I would say that's also should be called, besides headache tea, stress tea.
Yeah.
Because peppermint and lavender are both really great for stress, and most headaches are stress related. So even if you just wanted that calming effect of a nighttime. My mom is a big tea drinker, and part of her bedtime routine is she has a cup of chamomile tea every night before bed, and it kind of has become such a habit. It signals to her body and her mind that it's time. You know, she doesn't sleep very well sometimes, and so it kind of just, once you make that part of your routine, as I could see something like this easily being. Isn't it peppermint is supposed to be good for if you have some maybe a little bit of an upset stomach? Sometimes peppermint's a good soother of that.
Yeah, it can help with I guess stress is really it. Like if you have like an upset stomach, headache, you just feel bad in general, then this is a really good blend for that.
Gotcha.
And peppermint and lavender both have so many benefits for it. So this you'd steep for like 5 minutes, and since I let it sit for a little while, I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer for 3. And it's not really a big deal again because it's an herbal blend, so you could make this as like a sun tea too. You could just throw a bunch in some water and let it warm up or anything. And you can cold brew it. Just put it in cold water, leave it overnight.
Okay, I was going to ask. Cold brew takes a lot longer because that heat is what kind of
releases everything.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we'll just let this go, and you can see the lavender buds definitely kind of stick to the top. The peppermint sinks in there a little bit.
So this may just be, like, is there a difference in why you would use this cup here versus there, or was it just to be able to show a wider frame?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Pretty much.
Gotcha.
That's kind of what we would do if we were gonna like sample and show and everything. That's a good way to do it.
Right. Well, you know, like I know that some drinks have special glasses that they always go in, and I'm really not even sure why. I don't know why a Moscow Mule is in a copper cup. And maybe it has something to do with maybe I need to get a bartender on here that does that explain those kinds of things. And certain beers are served in different containers, and so I was not sure if that was the case also about tea.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of different brewing methods you can use, and some of them are in specific cups. Like there's a Gaiwan, which is just a cup that has a lid on it, and you would put a bunch of tea in it, and then a little bit of water, and then just pour it out, and then re-steep it a bunch. So that would be like the oolong or the jasmine dragon.
Gotcha.
And that way you're just not messing with infusers or tea balls or anything like that.
So the lid that's on that, does it filter so that you don't end up with tea in your tea?
No, you just kind of like hold it to the side, like kind of like a cocktail shaker.
Right, gotcha, okay.
And the infuser, the mesh infuser, is generally better than like a tea ball, or something like the Ingenie is better because the leaves get the chance to fully expand.
And a tea bowl, just to back up, it looks like a little ball, and they're made of mesh, and they have like a little chain kind of on. They're super cute, but maybe not as effective here. And it's almost like a Keurig deal that you could just drop down.
Pop it in, take it out.
Okay, all right, just want to make sure.
With like an herbal tea like this that doesn't really expand, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But with the unfurling leaves, you're going to want to let them really move apart and everything.
So that the water can get all the way through it and kind of really...
And get all the flavors out.
Okay.
So it's got a couple seconds left. So I'll go ahead and stop it. And so this has a darker color. It almost looks like the black tea.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the peppermint tends to get really dark when you're brewing it. The peppermint has a really strong smell.
You could just put a towel over
Yeah.
your head and do this and kind of get some, I think, some beneficial
you
out
get some
of.
aromatherapy.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
This would be a good one for a bath. Like you could just take a couple scoops of peppermint and a couple of lavender and toss it in a bath and then just infuse everything and smell it all.
Let's say I use this and I wanted to have a cup of hot tea. Could I take that and put it in the bath? Would it be,
Yeah.
you know, because this is the one you said, could you did you say really could re-steep
You
these?
can't really re-steep the
But it would
herbal
add some
ones.
aroma
Yeah.
to your bath if you wanted to. I would probably
That'd be a
put
good
it
way to
in a
reuse
bowl.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to clean all of that off of the inside of your tub
Yeah.
afterward. But, you know, that'd be a great kind of relaxing routine
Mm-hmm.
to make the tea and then put this in some sort of way where you could put it down in the tub.
Yeah,
and
like a
kinda,
cloth bag or something.
yeah, close the world away for a minute
Yeah.
and soothe that stress and that headache. It's really good. The peppermint is very refreshing.
Go
Get
ahead.
that lavender flavor in there too. And you don't need the aroma. It smells stronger than it tastes.
Yeah, it's very light.
It's really, really light.
So that can kind of scare some people, like especially lavender in general if somebody's not used to floral flavors. But it's almost always so light it doesn't get that like perfumey taste,
Right,
which
right.
a lot of people worry about.
Sometimes, and I've used rose water before in different things, and occasionally that can overpower
Yeah.
a flavor for me. And so I use that, but it was very similar to this, where it had a much stronger smell than it did. So, okay, so what is our next one?
All right. So I'm gonna make some matcha.
I am so like this is you saved the best for last. This is the most
Yeah.
curious thing here. I've heard about matcha and been kind of reading. I even looked. I'm like, what does this taste like? And so this is the thing that I am most excited to try today, just because it's so very different.
So it's a ground tea. So they take the whole tea leaf and they just grind it up into a really fine powder.
Oh wow! And it is super green.
Yeah, it's very, very green. So I'll just pop it in the matcha bowl there. And I just did a teaspoon in there. So I like to start with just a little water in there.
Okay.
You just add it right in together. And then you use your matcha whisk. And then you just start whisking it. You're going to want to do that until it gets a really frothy head.
Okay.
Matcha doesn't dissolve in water, it suspends. So you need to really whisk it in there. And
Gotcha.
then you're not going to want to let it sit around for a long time.
It'll settle back out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So matcha has a lot of health benefits. It's basically like green tea times 10.
Oh, okay.
So it has way more caffeine, way more antioxidants, just because you're getting the entire leaf in there.
Instead of just steeping water through it, you're grinding it up and actually ingesting the entire
Yeah.
leaf. Okay.
And this is the most caffeine in any tea, pretty much. It's gonna be about like an espresso shot
Oh,
for
wow.
a scoop of matcha. So if you kind of are getting out of the habit of drinking coffee or something like that, matcha is a really good alternative because you'll kind of get that caffeine boost, but it goes through your system a little slower. So it's not like an immediate caffeine boost.
It's
It'll
not
go
rush.
over a couple hours
Ah, okay. So
and
it's
then
a
last
little
a
bit
little
more.
longer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's as strong as an espresso, let's say you're a little bit like I'm a coffee drinker, I'm a tea drinker, but sometimes an espresso will just
Yeah.
a really strong coffee, and I'm like, whoa, this is way too much caffeine because it all hits you all at one time. So this would be sort of maybe a smoother,
Yeah.
not kind of a rush and more of an extended thing. Is right. Okay. Okay.
So, and then you would just drink that directly out of the bowl.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Traditionally, in like a Japanese matcha tea ceremony, you would drink it and then pass it around, and everybody would just really enjoy the tea together. So it's got a really strong kind of vegetal umami flavor to it.
Yes, and that's what I was trying to figure out because I was reading about that online going, I'm not quite sure I understand here. It's like it kind of tastes like a soybean to me. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the
Like edamame? Or,
like edamame,
Yeah.
it does exactly taste like that. But the kind, you know, like you can get the snacks that are freeze dried, and it's like, you know, a really super healthy chip alternative. It
Yeah.
kind of has that flavor. It's way better than any description that I could have read online. It's really good. Now, I would not want a gigantic bowl of it, but it sounds to me like you really don't need that much.
You can just take it as like a shot too if you don't want the flavor, but you want all those health benefits and you want the energy. You could just mix it up in a really tiny amount and then just drink it really fast, and
Shoot it
you'll
down.
still get it all.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
So, and you can also, if you don't love the flavor, you can make it into a matcha latte.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and heat up some milk.
Is that a special kind of milk? Does any kind of milk work?
Any kind works. I'm just using organic almond milk today.
Okay.
And generally, it is better to do a non-dairy milk just with matcha because the milk fats can kind of mess with the absorption and everything. So I'm just going to use this matcha we already made. Pour a little bit of that in here.
Okay.
And then I was going to make a matcha spice. So I'm going to use the pumpkin spice syrup, a little pinch of cinnamon, and just mix that all up. So I'm going to use an ounce of the pumpkin spice syrup.
Okay. So I think the flavor of the matcha, I think the cinnamon is a perfect combination for that.
It pairs really well with a lot of sweet things just because it's so strong. We make a lavender cardamom matcha in the store, and it's really good. That's one of our most popular drinks. And then I'm just going to do a tiny bit of vanilla. So, got that in there. Then I'll mix that up, get the cinnamon and the matcha really mixed in there together. So that's going. And then the milk is just frothing. We just have a regular milk frother. You can have one at home. You could heat up milk on the stove. If you have an espresso machine, you could use that.
Right.
Any way to heat it up and get it nice and frothy.
If you heat it up on the stove, you need to keep it moving because it'll kind of
bubble
burn on
up
the edges.
and
Yeah, you don't want to do that, right? So smell this. That almost, well, it smells like the cinnamon extract now to me. Is what that smells like in there.
Yeah, it's a really like cinnamony, spicy syrup, so it mixes together pretty well.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then we're just waiting on our milk over here, and it is done. So I'm just gonna take off the top and pour that right in. And then see the matcha's lightening up a little bit. It's gonna taste a lot lighter. So just mix it in there. And you can go ahead and try that.
Now it smells almost like a chai.
Yeah, it's kind of a chai flavor.
That's really good. That's really, really good.
So it's just got a lot more.
It's a good cold winter. Like this
Yeah.
morning when it was 30 degrees, that'd be great. This afternoon when it's 65, not so much.
Yeah.
This would be more for a springy feeling afternoon there. So
Exactly.
This is awesome. Thank you so much for coming and showing us about all of these teas. I have learned a bunch.
Okay.
It's just so interesting. There's so many fun things out there. And so if you at home are interested in learning some more about teas or interested in just learning more about some green living, go down to the Green Corner store. It's on the corner of 15th and Main in South Main, the Soma neighborhood. They would love to answer your questions, help you out. Tell us real quick, you've got a website and a Facebook page, and people could look at both of those to get some additional information.
Yeah, so you can just look up the Green Corner Store on Facebook or go to thegreencornerstore.com, and we'll have all our hours, any extra information you need.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate your spending the morning with us today.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank y'all for watching at home, and please tune in to our next episode of Chop the Rock.